You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
This morning's weather is sponsored by 100% Colombian coffee, the richest coffee in the world.
Well, good Sunday morning. It's March the 14th. You're watching the Weather Channel. It is 7 a.m. in the east and 4 a.m. in the western time zone. Rick Griffin along with you for the next 40 minutes. Check it out. Our satellite in motion this morning. We've seen a big record-setting storm beginning to depart the northeast. That has not actually done so yet, but the low-pressure center is in southeast New England and should be tracking up out of Maine by later this afternoon and on into the Canadian Maritime. So the stormy weather continues, and we'll detail that in just a second. Southeast is cleared out over the night. It's very cold. It's in the teens down around Atlanta, Georgia. Fair skies through the nation's midsection, so tranquil late winter weather there. While in the west, we see clouds streaming in off the Pacific with rain now from Stockton down towards Ontario. Yuma, Arizona getting a little rain this morning, as well as around Salt Lake City in Utah. On to our surface map. Let's check out the features. Of course, here's the massive storm in the northeast, centered in eastern Massachusetts at the moment. While in the southeast, we see high pressure building or moving into Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama, and high pressure staying put through the nation's midsection, as well as across the Rockies and the Plateau. But we do notice again the green shading out through California, Oregon, and Washington, and that denotes some areas of rain and mountain snow out to the west. Here's our closer view in the northeast. This storm has been a record-setting system. We'll check out the snowfall totals in just a minute. Not only has it brought record snows, but record low barometric pressures. Of course, the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. We've had wind gusts of 100 miles an hour with this storm at Flat Top Mountain in western North Carolina. New York City had wind gusts yesterday of 75, and Boston 81 miles an hour is registered out at Logan Airport. So extremely gusty winds with this system. That will be the case today. Notice how close the isobars of the lines of equal pressure are packed together. That indicates that the north to northwest winds and westerly winds in the mid-Atlantic will be gusting perhaps to 50 to 60 miles an hour during the day. Snow continues to fall from West Virginia to Pennsylvania. It's mainly light in here, but the snows get heavier across western New York at cities like Buffalo and Rochester and Syracuse. Well, we have light snow and wind in the Hudson Valley, and light to moderate snow over far northern New York, around Plattsburgh, northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and snowing at a good clip in northern Maine this morning, too. What a history this storm has had. This is the snowfall history from the system, and of course it started in the deep south during the day on Saturday with central Alabama picking up record snows, and the band of 1 foot or more is extensive, the white shading area up through Pennsylvania into central and southern New England. And within this band, we've had reports of 3 to 4 foot snowfalls. Mount Mitchell in North Carolina reported 37 inches of new snow from this storm, and Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and even 3 feet at 36. Now, Syracuse, an official total, 30 inches so far. There's more on the way. Albany, New York, 26. That is the second greatest snowstorm on record for the Capital District in eastern New York. State College, 25 inches, 10-foot snowdrifts. Burlington, Vermont, 19 inches so far. More's on the way. Boston's 13, and LaGuardia Airport in New York City has had 11 inches. And here's some more storm totals. Chattanooga, all-time 24-hour snow record, 21 inches. 13 for Birmingham, and even 2 inches way down at the Gulf Coast, Mobile, Alabama. And there were a few cities in northwest Florida yesterday, like Crestview, which reported an inch or two of wet snow on Saturday morning. Unbelievable, especially since it's the middle of March and winter's just about over, at least on the calendar. All-time record low pressures. Again, if you had a home barometer yesterday and you were keeping an eye on things, it was way down in the stormy weather section. And just one note, Columbia, South Carolina had a lower air pressure with this storm than with Hurricane Hugo back in 1889, just to give you an idea of just how powerful the storm was as it moved up through the Carolinas and now, of course, into the Northeast. Well, the weather's quieting down in the south this morning. It's cleared out through Georgia and South Carolina, and in Florida, it looks like a cool but sunny day. A few snow flurries through the Great Lakes, out toward Chicago and South Bend, and also around Des Moines, Iowa, but it's mainly high pressure through the center of the nation and westward through the Rockies, while we have a little rain moving into the west. Temperatures very cold, with the winds especially in the northeast. The wind chill factor now 13 below zero at New York City, and 30 below at Buffalo and Pittsburgh, 4 below zero at Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go on to the forecast. Storm in the northeast heads up into the Canadian Maritimes, while the western system picks up a little steam and brings some occasional showers to northern California and the Pacific Northwest through Monday. Looking for maybe an inch of rain along the Pacific Northwest coast, but otherwise amounts will be light. Additional snow in the northeast could total a foot in northern Maine, otherwise 3 to 6 inches. Highs today, very cold in the east, cool in the northwest, warm in the southwest, 50s there tonight, back into the 80s in the southwest deserts on Monday afternoon. Tuesday should be warm too. The south remains mild through Wednesday and into Thursday, while from the northern Rockies to New England, temperatures remain wintry.
Buying 100% Colombian coffee can be tricky if you don't know what to look for. Because some coffee is only part Colombian. And some coffee isn't any part Colombian. So how can you be sure you're getting the richest coffee in the world? Always look for Juan Valdez. He'll only be on brands that are 100% Colombian coffee. The richest coffee in the world.
Look for the symbol of Juan Valdez on these fine 100% Colombian coffee brands.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. The extended forecast. Your local radar, showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Now on video, 45 minutes of fast tornado action, plus the 1993 tornado calendar. Just $19.95. Call 1-800-525-6600.
New England skiers forecast is sponsored by Sunday River. Ski free when you stay March 22nd through the 26th. Well, it's snow, and more snow for the eastern ski areas. Of course, the storm started out yesterday in the Gulf, moved up across southeast Georgia to the mid-Atlantic states, and now it's parked in southeastern New England. And all of the ski areas from North Georgia to northern New England have received significant, if not very heavy amounts of new snow. These are reports from yesterday, obviously, with just 3 new at Sunday River. Probably 3 or 4 times at least that so far. 96 inches of base. Powder and packed powder surface conditions. In fact, the powder may be knee-deep in some areas today. If you can get to the ski area, excellent ski conditions will result. But be careful if you are heading to the ski slopes on this Sunday. Now, snowfall forecast for the next 24 hours through 7 a.m. Monday morning. We'll find another foot or more falling over the western mountains of Maine into northern New Hampshire. Lesser amounts to the south and west as the storm moves up towards the Canadian Maritimes. But again, the new snowfall just adding to the already deeply covered ski slopes in New England. Later on Monday, the sun will be back out, and it should be partly sunny for Tuesday.
For ski conditions at over 400 other ski areas, call 1-900-WEATHER.
This ski season, you could have a come to Sunday River in Maine and have a great time. Gotta ski Sunday River.
To book your Sunday River ski vacation, call 1-800-543-2SKI.
You are here. She has the traveler's checks here. That is a problem. Well, was. American Express traveler's checks for two. The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
You can pick up your American Express traveler's checks for two at participating AAA locations.
Dear Thompson's, when the store ran out of Thompson's water seal, we finished our deck with another brand. What a mistake. The Thompson side beat it up, the other side, nothing. Even the clerk agreed. Nothing works like Thompson's. Sincerely, Becky Jones, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
Add a piece of chicken, add a piece of fish, as long as you can add a piece to any meal you wish. We can do that. Yeah. Long John Silver's. We can do that.
Go fish with Long John Silver's, where America goes for fish.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists to take care of coughs with Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home. Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
12 and a half past the hour on this Sunday morning, March the 14th. Thanks for joining us on the Weather Channel Traveler's Update Time. Let's get a big picture now. The National Digital Radar starts things off. We do see some rain in the west. It's moved back into Redding to Stockton, California. Ontario and Southern California has rain, as well as Yuma in southwest Arizona and Salt Lake City in northern Utah. It's very light and really not painted very well by national radar at this time, but it is there. We have precipitation in the northeast, and it is mainly snow showers, with the heavier snows confined to northern New England and western New York State, especially in the lee of Lake Ontario, where Syracuse now has picked up 32 inches of snow officially from this storm. Of course, the heavy snow started yesterday in the deep south, so all over the east there are going to be travel problems today. Many of the secondary roads have not been plowed and are in very bad shape. And if you're in the northeast especially, look out for strong and gusty winds blowing and drifting that snow around. Travel is not recommended today in a good many portions of the east. Rain in the valleys in the west. Don't see any thunderstorms today, but again, look out for those strong winds over the eastern part of the nation.
Skiers, call 1-900-WEATHER for slope conditions at over 400 ski areas worldwide. 95 cents a minute. That's 1-900-WEATHER.
What more could you ask from a car dealer than to have the #1 selling American-made car? How about a quality sales staff that is more interested in creating a long-term customer relationship than just a quick sale? Or hand-pick quality used cars? Or a service department that has evening and Saturday hours? And all of this at competitive prices. Suffolk Honda, located on Route 206, 2 miles north of Newton, has all this and more. Stop in and see for yourself.
Pocono Interiors. That's my dad, and he sells floors, carpet, vinyl, and much more. Ceramic tile, hardwood too. My dad has it all for you. Pocono Interiors, for floors and walls, we have it all.
If you're you're about to travel, watch the 5-Day Business Planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-Day Business Planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Special regional information. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
16 past right now. Let's check out the radars and some satellite views too. In fact, we start with the overall view of the lower 48 from our meteorological satellite, perched 22,000 miles or so out in space, and we're getting a good view of some clear skies through the nation's midsection. We're also watching clouds stream into the west. There is some rain in California, Utah, and western Arizona this morning, at least spotty rainfall being detected. And we have diminishing snow in the northeast as the big storm heads up into southern Maine right now around Portland, and it will track up into the Canadian Maritimes later on. But still, the backlash bringing moisture in and occasional snow or snow showers. It exists now from Portland on to Boston. The rain has changed back to snow. It's very light snow over eastern New York State, some of which is not showing up on radar. Heavier snow, western New York, Rochester to Buffalo. The snow is falling at a good clip there. In fact, Rochester had heavy snow at last report, perhaps being enhanced somewhat by the relatively warm waters of Lake Ontario. Here's the snow in New England and snow showers as we head back into the Ohio Valley and lower lakes.
I never worry about money now that I use Quicken.
With Quicken, all my finances are accurately organized in one place.
Yes, Quicken, the world's best-selling finance software and the fastest, easiest way to organize your home and small business finances. Quicken tracks bank accounts, investments, tax information, budgets, credit cards, and loans. And it's simple. If you can use a checkbook, you can use Quicken because your screen looks exactly like your checkbook. Just type in the payee, the amount, Quicken does the rest. Every transaction automatically categorized, so a keystroke gives you detailed reports like income and expenses, budgets, net worth, investment performance, and more. And Quicken's new financial planners help you plan funding for loans, college, and retirement.
Now we're organized.
With Quicken, we always know exactly where our money goes.
And exactly how much we have.
So, if you have a PC with DOS or Windows, call now to try Quicken free for 60 days. We won't charge your credit card unless you decide to keep Quicken. Call now.
Every morning, everywhere, the sun wakes up the sky. Let forges be there to open up your eyes. Nothing that a Roma can do. Waking you and me, waking everyone in harmony. Let's start waking up. Forges in your heart.
When Jeffrey catches a cold, we see the pediatrician.
I love my pediatrician. He's my dad.
We have a live-in doctor. He recommends Dimetap Elixir.
For colds, doctors recommend Dimetap for their families and yours.
Enroll your class in the Weather Classroom. Learn about the weather and watch it as it happens. Just set your VCR to tape Monday through Friday at 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern. That's 10 the night before Pacific time for the Weather Classroom. Then watch the Weather Classroom whenever you can, at school or at home. Learn about the weather and see it in action. Monday through Friday, watch the Weather Classroom on the Weather Channel. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
21 past the hour. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Channel on this Sunday morning, March the 14th. You're just in time for the 5-day business planner. And for those of you in the east, we can definitely find some more tranquil weather in the 5-day outlook. Let's check it out. Well, first of all, the big storm, the blizzard of 93 as it's being called, is tracking off to northern Maine by midday and into the Canadian Maritimes this afternoon, and just plain off the map by early morning on Monday. In the wake of the storm, we'll have some snow shower activity today, and then the top side of this high pressure system will push into New York and New England and clear things out for the most part and cause the winds to diminish somewhat during the day on Monday. It'll stay cold, as you'll see. High pressure drops into the south too. There are going to be some big problems with freezing temperatures over Florida tonight. Then we have a warm front streaking up through the northern plains. Ahead of it chilly, but behind it some big moderation in temperature tomorrow. East of the Continental Divide into the western high plains. We'll check out the temperatures in just a bit. And we see moisture continuing to stream in off the Pacific into northern California and the Pacific Northwest. No big storm out there, but occasional showers expected. Okay, now we go on to the temperature map, and this is for today. The Northeast, the cold spot, single digits, teens all the way down to western Virginia. We'll see 20s and 30s deep into the south, and Florida will be in the 50s and 60s today. The 60s mainly confined to the south, Miami and Palm Beach. 60s from Houston on to Albuquerque, and then 80s out in the southwest deserts, while the plateau remains cool with readings in the 30s and 40s. Overnight lows in the west will range from the teens in the high mountain valleys to the 50s in the southwest deserts, while the east is under a winter chill, with lows bottoming out in the teens below zero, northern Maine, northern New Hampshire and Vermont, and in the single digits below zero for the northern Great Lakes. Even teens and single digits down into the southern Appalachians, and teens around Atlanta, Georgia again tonight with a snow-covered ground, light winds, and clear skies, allowing the heat of the day to escape back to space. Now, as we head into Monday, look at the moderation here in the plains, 50s Rapid City, 60s Denver, and 70s around Midland, Odessa. The Northeast and the Great Lakes remain chilly, but some moderation in the temperature expected in New England on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday we're looking at a slightly colder day once again, teens, 20s, and 30s, while the South remains warm the second half of the week. Now, we don't see any major storms coming up, but a warm front will bring some light snow to the northern plains on Monday, and then a relatively weak low-pressure trough scoots to the east coast with a mix of snow, sleet, and showers. In the west, it looks stormy Wednesday, but drying out a little bit on Thursday with showers for Portland and Seattle.
Take off on the most unforgettable flight of your life. Join the world's leading aviation authority aboard the Messerschmitt 262, the Bell X-1, and the X-15, all waiting to fly you farther, faster, and higher. The Smithsonian's Frontiers of Flight, now available for only $4.95 plus shipping and handling for your introductory video cassette from Columbia House Video Library. Begin your flight and get a free bonus, this outstanding Frontiers of Flight book featuring 270 photos from the Smithsonian's collection. Then fly to the scene of aviation's most important breakthroughs. You'll be there for every milestone, every mishap, every miracle. From the Spirit of St. Louis to the incredible Voyager. In your first video, you'll join test pilots as you streak along the edge of the atmosphere at supersonic speed. Future videos will send you soaring with more of aviation's best at the Frontiers of Flight. Call now and cruise to the threshold of space with the Smithsonian Institution for only $4.95 plus $2.45 shipping and handling. And get the Frontiers of Flight book free. Have your credit card ready and call this toll-free number now.
It's a cold and clear morning across the state of Florida. We have temperatures that have dropped off into the low 20s in the northwest corner of the state this morning around Crestview, and it's frosty even as far south as Orlando with a current reading of 32 degrees. Another very cold night coming up tonight, perhaps even colder than this morning in many cases, as high pressure now in the western Gulf moves directly over the state during Sunday night and Monday morning. That will allow the winds to diminish, the heat of the day to escape back to space, and we could be looking at a pretty decent late winter freeze for the state. Not that it's not below freezing this morning. It is in most of the northern half of the state, but more below freezing temperatures tonight. In addition to the cold air, the high pressure will bring us sunny or mostly sunny skies today. So in the sunshine forecast, abundant amounts anticipated. Water temperatures. It's a lot warmer in the water this morning than it is out in the air. The surf temperature at Panama City 61 and at 73 at Miami Beach. High temperatures today, air temperature-wise, will top out at 44 Panama City, 48 at Jacksonville, with a 57 at Fort Myers and Port Charlotte.
In an emergency, reaction time is critical. So when one of these volunteers gets a cold, should she take a cold or allergy medicine that can cause drowsiness? Or new Sudafed 12-hour caplets, the original prescription-strength nasal decongestant that relieves stuffiness and lets you stay alert.
Great.
For long-lasting, non-drowsy relief.
You gotta get quick.
It's okay.
Back this way.
Depend on Sudafed 12-hour, because people depend on you, from the makers of Sudafed.
There's a tropical island that's not on any map, though it's easy to find. It's warmed by the sun and caressed by the winds, with its own hidden treasures, local delicacies, and exotic festivals. But this island moves. It's a Carnival cruise ship. So if you go, get there on time and get out your Visa card, because the world's most popular cruise line doesn't stay in one place for long, and it doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
You can use your Visa card at the Pearl Vision Center nearest you.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
27 past the hour on this Sunday morning. It is a windy and chilly early morning here in the tri-state area, and we still have a little snow here and there across the area, but the big blizzard of 93 is tracking out of the region, and we'll tell you what's coming up next in the forecast. First of all, let's get into the details on the almanac page. The normal high and low, the records 75. Wouldn't that be nice? That was established back in 1976, and our record low 12 established back in 1888. So we've had some very mild conditions on this date, and it's also been very cold, and that's fairly typical of the middle of March. 10.5 inches of snow. That's the official final storm reading from Central Park. Now, we may pick up some light additional accumulations today, but the heaviest snow certainly is long gone. The cold air isn't, though. It's 21 at Central Park, with the winds gusting to 31. The wind chill 6 below zero. The pressure is rising steadily. We have light snow and a humidity reading of 77%. Light snow over much of the region now, from Newark to Teterboro up to Newburgh. At White Plains 21, 24 at Bridgeport, mid-20s also at Islip and West Hampton. Satellite picture shows a bit of a swirl in the clouds. Now, the Maine low pressure center is tracking up into southern Maine right now and should go out of the United States across northern Maine into New Brunswick later on this afternoon and this evening. In the wake of the storm, strong and gusty winds for us today. That means you're going to have to dress for the wind chill when you're headed out, and that wind chill will be well below zero throughout the daylight hours, with wind gusts possible in the 50 to 60 mile per hour range out of the west and northwest. Precipitation again, we'll have some, mostly light to moderate snow showers with a chance of an additional accumulation of an inch or so during the day. But the heaviest snow will be confined to the upstate areas, and especially near Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, as well as northern New England, with another 3 to 6 inches possible. As we look at the forecast for the next 24 hours, we see that the storm goes off the map, and high pressure returns to the tri-state region on Monday morning. It'll still be breezy, it'll still be cold, but it should be a clear start to the day. We'll start our new work week off tomorrow. Now, as for today, clouds and wind, snow showers, temperatures topping out in the low to mid-20s. Wind chills again below 0 throughout much of the day. Tonight, diminishing winds, clearing skies, single digits to mid-teens. And tomorrow, mostly sunny, not as windy, with a high of 32 degrees. On Tuesday, increasing clouds up to 35. And by Wednesday, we're looking at a threat of some more light rain and snow activity, with a temperature reading of 42 degrees.
This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate weather forecasts at your convenience 24 hours a day.
Well, good morning. Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel on this Monday, March the 14th. It is 7:30 in the east and 4:30 a.m. in the west. Rick Griffin here. Will Annan will be checking in about 10 minutes to give you the latest on the weekend travel forecast and the winter weather update. But right now, we'd like to fill you in on the current satellite in motion, which shows some nice clear skies through the center of the nation, Texas, Oklahoma, up into Kansas, all the way to the Dakotas and Minnesota. On the other side of the coin, we have clouds streaming into the west. There's rain this morning, Stockton, Merced, down to Ontario, California, Yuma, Arizona, and a few spritzes of rain as far north as Salt Lake City in northern Utah. A storm in the west is a fairly minor system, especially when you compare it to the blizzard of '93, which continues to spiral around on our view from space right here. Now, the storm centers up in southwestern, southern sections of Maine and heading towards the Canadian Maritimes. Most of the heavy snow has ended, but the winds continue, the blowing and drifting snow as well, and certainly cold temperatures in the northeast. We'll check all that out during the next few minutes. Our first stop is the National Surface Map, which shows our weather features. It includes that massive storm over east central New England right now. We also have high pressure through much of the nation's midsection and over the Rockies, while some moisture is coming into the far west. Let's check on the east first. Here it is, the record-setting low. Record-setting in the sense that we've had record snowfalls with this system. We have had record low barometric pressures. And usually the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. We've had high winds of 100 miles an hour or more recorded in the mountains of North Carolina yesterday morning. Wind gusts overnight of 80 miles an hour in Boston and 70 to 80 miles an hour in the New York City area too during the overnight hours. Winds have diminished slightly there, fortunately. But the snows continue from western North Carolina to West Virginia to Pennsylvania to upstate New York, with the heaviest snowfalls right now confined to western New York near Lake Ontario, the St. Lawrence Valley, and across northern Vermont, New Hampshire, central and northern Maine. There's even been some rain in eastern New England around the Boston area, but that now has changed back to snow. Very massive snow history from this system, with a heavy snow starting Saturday morning in the deep south around Birmingham and Atlanta, and then moving right up the spine of the Appalachians into Pennsylvania, New York, and New England late yesterday and last night. See this white shading? This is where a foot or more of snow fell from the system, a very widespread area. And we've had reports within this band of a foot or more of 3 to 4 feet of new snow from the storm. Look at this. Syracuse, New York, 30 inches. Albany, 26. State College, Pennsylvania, 25 inches, 10-foot snow drifts. Portland, Maine, 17 inches, 11 inches LaGuardia Airport, New York City. Jackson, Kentucky, 20. Chattanooga, an all-time record 24-hour snowfall total, 21 inches. Birmingham, Alabama, 13, and even down around the Gulf Coast at Mobile, Alabama, 2 inches of new snow. And a late report from Mount Mitchell, North Carolina, of 37 inches of new snow from the storm. And one of the ski areas in western North Carolina reported 40 inches from this system. Now, in addition to the snow, we've had all-time record low pressures. If you had a home barometer and you were watching it, it was way down in the stormy weather section. Places like Columbia, South Carolina had a lower air pressure with this storm than with Hurricane Hugo back in 1989, just to give you an idea of the magnitude of the system that started in the Gulf and is now way up in New England. Well, skies have cleared over much of the south this morning. It's chilly, but otherwise it'll be a much quieter day. The northern plains under the influence of high pressure. The Rockies and Plateau are too, but some moisture is sneaking in off the Pacific with some rain, Merced and Stockton to Ontario. Also a few showers around Salt Lake City. And at Yuma, Arizona, a sprinkle in the last hour. At Phoenix nearby, it's 59. It's 41 up at Salt Lake. It's 11 at Des Moines this morning and 3 below zero up at the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. In the Northeast, it's cold and it's windy. The chill factor's 31 below at Buffalo, 18 below at New York City, -6 at the nation's capital, and an even 0 here in Atlanta, Georgia, while Tampa, Florida checked in with a wind chill of 19. Well, let's check on the forecast. There goes the major storm, the blizzard of 93, out of Maine into the Canadian Maritimes this afternoon and off the map by Monday morning, being replaced by high pressure over much of the east. In the west, we'll see moisture heading in off the Pacific, producing some light rain showers, but moderate to heavy rains along the northwest California and Oregon coast, possibly up to an inch. Some high mountain snowfall in the west, and snow in the northeast will be led by perhaps up to 6 to 12 inches of additional snow in northern Maine, but otherwise 3 to 6 inches of snow. Highs today, coldest in the lakes and northeast. Southeast will be very chilly. The southwest very mild with 70s and 80s today and 40s and 50s overnight tonight. So very warm in the western sections of the country. Phoenix again should be in the 70s and 80s again today. Let's check it out. We're going to take a look ahead right now, and the look ahead is sponsored by, well, let's just go ahead and take a look at the look ahead here. We're checking highs on Monday. Northeast 20s and 30s with teens for northern Maine. We'll see mild weather over the south, 60s and 70s with some 80s out in the southwestern deserts. Look at the south over the next couple of days. It will continue to be warm while the north remains chilly with 20s, 30s, and 40s anticipated through the day on Thursday. Monday's precipitation, a warm front moving into the north, some light snow ahead of that. A few showers with moisture coming out of the Gulf. That system streams to the east. To the east coast, we'll see a little bit of light rain and snow for Wednesday.
Add a piece of chicken, add a piece of fish. As long as you can add a piece to any meal you wish. We can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Buy any Long John's meal and add a piece. Fish for 75 cents, chicken for 65, or shrimp for 35.
Fish, shrimp, and chicken, crispy and delish. Mix them up and match them and any meat you wish. Yeah, we can do that. Long John's Silver. Go fish.
Go for fish, 3 delicious shrimp plus fries, all just $1.99.
Go fish with Long John Silver's, where America goes for fish.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. Get the latest skiing conditions before you take to the slopes this winter. Tune to the Weather Channel for the skier's forecast all season long. Only on the Weather Channel.
The high cost of health care? Everyone has a part in keeping it down. So we took what you like about Walmart and what you want in a pharmacy it right inside your Walmart store. The result?
Walmart's pharmacy department.
With professional service and the low price on every prescription.
So next time, bring it here.
Or ask your doctor to call.
Walmart Pharmacy Department. Your full-service pharmacy. Right inside Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
When Jeffrey catches a cold, we see the pediatrician.
I love my pediatrician. He's my dad.
We have a live-in doctor. He recommends Dimetap Elixir.
For colds, doctors recommend Dimetap for their families and yours.
You are here. She has the traveler's checks here. Uh-oh. Well, how about American Express traveler's checks for 2? The only checks either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
You can pick up your American Express traveler's checks for 2 at participating AAA locations.
Weekend Travel Forecast is sponsored by American Express Traveler's Checks for 2.
Putting in a lot of late hours at the office. The pressure was really getting to me. My doctor told me if I didn't get some exercise, I'd be a prime candidate for a heart attack.
Nordic Track.
I had a terrible time losing weight after my second baby, and dieting wasn't enough. I needed a way to burn more calories.
Nordic Track. Nordic Track is the easy way for you to get in shape and feel your best. Nordic Track simulates cross-country skiing, the world's best aerobic exercise. So it's a great way to get in shape, manage stress, and help control weight. Unlike ordinary exercisers like bikes, treadmills, and stair climbers, which primarily work your lower body, Nordic Track provides a total body workout. It tones, develops, and conditions all the major muscles of your upper and lower body. And Nordic Track's patented flywheel design creates a smooth, non-jarring motion no other ski machine can match. Try Nordic Track in the convenience of your own home for 30 days. Call 1-800-647-1536. Nordic Track is affordable. Choose the model that's priced right for you. Call now.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. From the Weather Channel, America's primary source for weather information, the Weather Classroom, a complete unit for teaching basic meteorology, climatology, and our environment. The Weather Classroom, an 80-page, fully illustrated textbook workbook with experiments and activities to let students enjoy a hands-on, up-close experience with weather. The Weather Classroom, a regular on-air program with exciting and dramatic examples of weather in action. Find out how you can offer the Weather Classroom to your students. Contact your local cable operator right away. It's not easy knowing how to dress your kids for school every day. Will it rain? Will it storm? Will it be cool? Will it be warm? Don't despair. Dressing your kids for school can be downright elementary when you watch the school day forecast on the Weather Channel. So make it a rule to see us before you see them off. The school day forecast, weekday mornings, 35 minutes after the hour on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
Sinus weather, and you're about to take a sinus medicine that could make you drowsy. Next time
take Sudafed Sinus, the maximum strength combination of pain reliever and fast-working decongestant found in Sudafed that won't cause drowsiness. For non-drowsy relief, depend on Sudafed Sinus because people depend on you, now in easier-to-swallow tablets and caplets.
Here's a look at the weather and your health, which is sponsored by Sudafed Sinus, fast sinus relief that won't put you fast asleep. Looks like more trouble ahead as far as the flu bug goes. We're still looking at some widespread flu where you see the darker shades of red. We're talking about Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee, Missouri and Wisconsin, and throughout much of the West, including Alaska, which has been looking at widespread flu now at least for the last several weeks, and probably for about the last, let's say, 4 to 5 weeks there. Big flu outbreak in Alaska. Looks like aches and pains, arthritis is going to be on the increase over the next couple of days. You'll feel those pains for sure over not only the northwestern part of the country, with some more moisture becoming ashore there, but of course because of the blizzard conditions which are raging now from Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and still down to parts of eastern New York State, it's going to be a rough go there. And as far as respiratory distress goes, just about the same general areas. Again, watch out throughout New England. It's going to be nasty through tomorrow.
Call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER, before you hit the road, and you'll be prepared for any weather Old Man Winter brings.
While you're sound asleep, Saxony Bakery's bakers are busy at work. All of our goods are made the old-fashioned way, from scratch. Whether it's our fresh breads or mouth-watering coffee cakes, you can see and taste the difference. We have something for every appetite. Muffins, donuts, pastries, eclairs, torts, and a wide variety of cakes. When you taste ours, you're tasting the best. Saxony Bakery, Route 94 Vernon and Route 23 Franklin.
If you find yourself in a severe financial situation that is affecting the quality of your life, you need to seek professional counsel. I'm Dean Sutton. For more than 10 years, I've been advising people like you about personal bankruptcy based on their specific needs. I can show you solutions to your financial problems that will allow you to get a fresh start. Call me today at 201-729-8121 to start working on a solution to your financial problems.
You're watching the Weather Channel for accurate forecasts at your convenience. Weather you can always turn to. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Special regional information. The regional forecast. The current local radar showing any precipitation in your area. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen.
America. You work hard for your money. You deserve a beach. Panama City Beach, Florida. America's travel writers voted Panama City Beach the #1 beach value in the country. Crystal clear water, dazzling sugar white sand, and that warm Florida sunshine. We deliver more fun. More beach for your money. Panama City Beach, Florida. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH.
Panama City Beach is home to the world's most beautiful beaches. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH for information.
This is a commercial for men. It's about men living longer, looking younger, feeling stronger. It's about men's health, the only magazine devoted to what men are concerned about most. Every issue has easy ways to eat smarter, exercise better, boost energy levels, and look and feel great. Learn how to flatten your stomach without dieting and sit-ups. How to reduce the signs of aging, discover aphrodisiacs that rev up your sex life, and reviews of the latest sports equipment. And now get 101 Men's Health Secrets free when you call for your trial subscription to Men's Health. Find the secret to losing 10 pounds fast, to cutting your cholesterol 30 points in 30 days, to longer-lasting sex. For your free book and 9 issues of Men's Health for $16.97, call this toll-free number. You can cancel anytime for a full refund and still keep the book. Try Men's Health today. It's about you, your health, your looks, your relationships. Isn't it about time?
We're still tracking that very intense storm system now throughout the eastern part of the country. We'll talk about that more in just a couple of seconds. But in the wake of that deep storm system and all that snow cover all the way down towards the Gulf Coast, we've seen record lows this morning where you see the blue dots. And we're talking about places in, well, southeastern Minnesota around Rochester, also from Michigan down to Alabama, Georgia, and also skimming northwestern Florida too. Some of the numbers right now will show you exactly what's been happening. Jackson, Michigan was down to 1 this morning. Now look at Birmingham, Alabama, 2 degrees above zero because they have more than a foot of snow on the ground. The winds diminished overnight and they saw a good deal of radiational cooling. Probably just about as cold tomorrow morning over most of Alabama and Georgia. Getting to South Carolina, maybe even colder than that than what you saw this morning, and the same thing for northwestern Florida too. Other record lows did include Shreveport, Louisiana, down to 23, Austin, Texas, 28 degrees, and San Antonio was down to 30. Here's a look at our current weather map. You can see the tightly wound up storm now over much of New England. We'll zoom into that part of the country right now and show you exactly what is happening. Well, about 4, 5, 6 hours ago, the storm actually passed just about right over New York City. They saw some strong, gusty southerly winds, some light rain. Then quickly the winds changed back to the west. They were looking at some snow flurries. The temperature is dropping like a rock. But it's just to the west of this storm system that the real heavy snow has been shaping up, like around Syracuse, New York. Anywhere between 1 inch and 2 and 3 inches per hour of snow has been developing and falling there. Same thing around Albany. Now it looks like the heaviest snow is beginning to taper off over central into southeastern New York. It's moving northward now into Vermont, New Hampshire, and much of Maine, where you could be looking at another foot of snow developing there. How much snow has fallen? We're going to show you some of the numbers right now. Syracuse officially 31 inches, Albany 27, State College 26, and Boston 13. Here's the way it looks with graphic form. Looks like more wintry travel likely today for all of New England, so watch out for that and drive very, very carefully. Well, it's time once again for a look at our Good Morning Forecast, and the Good Morning Forecast is sponsored by Shoney's Restaurants. Our major winter storm system, which has affected Dixie, moved up out the eastern seaboard the last couple of days, will be centered by, let's say, midday today, somewhere right around central or eastern or northeastern Maine. Again, you can see the flow around the area of low pressure. Very, very intense winds likely. We could be talking about some damaging winds into New York City and Boston, and eventually much of Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine. Just consider what's going to be happening as far as blowing and drifting of snow with those strong westerly winds and all that snow on the ground. And by early morning tomorrow, things do begin to quiet down. And then we'll shift our emphasis towards the west with some more rain coming on board there. But the heavier snow still confined to much of central and northern New England, especially in Maine, with our forecast highs in the single numbers and teens. But we're looking at temperatures way below normal by early morning tomorrow.
How many bowls of this cereal would it take to equal the nutritional value of the fresh fruit, eggs, grits, and bacon on Shoney's Breakfast Bar? Well, it depends on how big your bowl is. Cereal, bananas, peaches, melons, fruit salad, cottage cheese, bacon, scrambled eggs, sausage, potatoes, blueberry muffins, biscuits, country milk gravy, Ritz.
Shoney's Breakfast Bar, the best breakfast in town.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. The regional forecast. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. extended forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. Get a good start to your morning with this morning's weather. 25 and 58 minutes after every hour, between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern, only on the Weather Channel.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Traveling is not recommended at all anywhere throughout the northeastern part of the country today because of some very intense winds, a lot of blowing and drifting of snow. The heaviest snowfall right now beginning to shift northward over upstate New York. Still snowing very heavily around Syracuse and Albany, but beginning to taper down there too. Watch out Burlington, Vermont, much of New Hampshire, and much of western and northern Maine. You're going to be looking at tremendous amounts of snowfall. Blizzard conditions right through early morning tomorrow. Watch out for the snowy travel there, and redeveloping out west too, especially in the Cascades right through tomorrow. And you can see by later tomorrow now, much of New England will be digging out. The wind should begin to subside, but not before you look at some strong westerly winds today. Some of these winds could become very damaging. Strong westerly winds around New York City and Boston could be gusting to 50 to 60 miles per hour, and will be blowing around snow of this magnitude, like around Syracuse 31 inches and Burlington 19.
For regional Michelin drivers reports, call the Weather Channel Connection, 1-900-WEATHER.
Let it rain. Let it snow. You've got Michelin's new all-season MXV4. A luxury performance tire with a very special feature. Climate controlled. Michelin. Because so much is riding on your tires.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Good morning, Tri-State. What a rough 24 hours. It looks like another rough 24 hours coming up with some strong winds. Normally this time of the year, a high of around 48 degrees. We won't even get close to that today. The low of 33 will be way below that again tomorrow morning. The record high 75, the record low of 12. And we've seen 10 inches officially of snow now during the last 24 hours at Central Park. And of course, you saw a lot of heavy sleet as well mixed in with that. Right now at Central Park, officially 21 degrees, humidity 77%, westerly winds now gusting to 31 miles per hour. Pressure is rising rapidly, which means low pressure, which was centered right around New York City a few hours back, is pulling off towards our north. The sky still is mostly cloudy with some light snow flurries around. That will continue. The wind chill a biting -6, and it's going to get worse as the day goes on. Looking at the current situation, there are some light snow flurries around. Earlier this morning, we saw the area low pressure pass right over Long Island, and it was just to the west of here, some of the hills of northwestern New Jersey and back in eastern New York. They were getting snowfall rates of around 1, 2, and maybe 3 inches per hour here. It was really coming down. It's all lifting northward now. We can show you with our satellite picture exactly what is happening. Here's our storm beginning to lift northward. It looks like the worst conditions at this hour appears to be over upstate New York, much of Vermont, Burlington right now reporting snow at the rate of 2 inches per hour. Same thing over much of central northern New Hampshire and western Maine. You're going to look at another foot of snow. And as far as we're concerned, well, as that storm system begins to pull northward, we're going to be looking at some backlashing effect. Of course, the strong westerly winds this time. Earlier this morning, strong southerly winds shortly after midnight. Some of the rain that was coming down was mixing with some of the snow, and we saw temperatures rise rather dramatically. Now they're falling dramatically. Everything is going to be shifting on towards the north. Watch out for gusty westerly winds today. They could be locally damaging. We've seen that up and down the eastern seaboard during the last couple of days. And even though we were Basically looking at some calmer winds this morning, 10 to 20 miles per hour. We're back to the 30, 40 to 50 mile per hour category through this afternoon. Early morning tomorrow, the big storm disappears from our map. It's way off the northeastern corner of the map in the eastern Canada, heading on towards the northeast. Looking at the forecast highs in this Sunday, it's going to be chilly. The big factor again will be the wind and also the wind chill. Looks like temperatures tomorrow morning, teens, maybe some single numbers. And then for the rest of the upcoming work week, looks like by Wednesday and Thursday, a chance of some more light precipitation, rain or snow, then turning windy and colder by Thursday afternoon. One more time.
You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.